So, do y'all want to talk about what happened this week with Nick Cannon or not?
Yeah, we can talk
Sure.
about that.
So, apparently, Nick Cannon got fired by ViacomCBS over some things that he said on his podcast when he interviewed Professor Griff. Um, Tom, did you listen to did either of you listen to the Nick Cannon Professor Griff podcast?
I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I listened to the segment that got him in trouble.
Okay, I didn't listen to it. I listened to different people with their commentary on it, so I kind of got like a little bit of what was said. But other than that, I didn't listen to exactly what was said. You
Yeah, I
want to
was.
tell us about what he said?
Yes. Well, as far as he was just saying, as far as how the black male is the original Jew, and we were always been suppressed because we got the melanin in us, and we're always forgiving, and that's a part of the melanin people. But um, basically, we're the original Jew, and the white people they strive to have the melanin because um, it's worth more, and because it helps people strive. Them not having melanin, he also stood makes them more savage like and makes them want to suppress other humans. So I mean, it was. I mean, those are his views. But at the end of the day, you can't be saying that about the people who's signing your paycheck either. So it's like,
Yeah, you kind of get into a tough spot where the people who are signing your paychecks are the people who you're saying disparaging remarks about.
mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
see, that's where what Dame Dash always say comes into play, where you got to be your own boss. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And people look at Dame Dash like he crazy for saying stuff like that, but at the end of the day, nobody can fire you if you're your own boss.
I think though what's interesting is that Viacom CBS chose to take this opportunity to fire Nick Cannon when if you know Nick Cannon, he's been this way.
Yeah, but
So
Right.
but with him finally having his own platform to having a podcast, now he can actually talk like that. Before
this
he was always like on some entertainment type stuff.
well, he has a podcast and he also has a radio show too.
Yeah, yeah. But I don't. I'm not disappointed in it, Cannon. I'm just confused of why he apologized, and now he's upset that people is wondering why he apologized.
Yeah, because I think when we found out that Viacom CBS decided to fire Nick Cannon, he came out with that initial, was it the initial statement or the second statement, where he was saying that he never meant to offend anybody, but uh, he was out in Viacom CBS saying that they did not want to run any ads of things that were in support of George Floyd or Breonna Taylor, and he was saying that he wants to own the rights to his show Wild and Out, and he was like really about it in that statement, but then the following day releases another statement apologizing and kind of like, I don't know if you would call it backpedaling, and we were just first we were like, yeah, Nick, yeah, get yours, Nick. We stand
Well,
with you. And then the next day it's like, for real, Nick, like you said all that to turn around and
To say this shit, I ain't trying to hear none of that shit.
no, we riding. We
somebody
riding.
got in his
Right.
ear. Somebody got in his ear like, look, if you want to work in Hollywood, you gotta, yeah,
But what another thing that's interesting is Nick Cannon, he's been working since he's a kid. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he got to be caked up Like, do he really need to work for Viacom CBS? Do he really need to work for them? Do he really need that job?
No, but I'm pretty sure it's a nice money maker.
Or do you think he did that to not mess up any future endeavors?
Yeah, I think he did that to not mess up any future endeavors. The other thing that's on Fox, he ain't trying to mess that up. Because you will get blackballed for something like that if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to me, I don't really feel like he should have apologized. I think that maybe we should say that there's a larger conversation that needs to be had about it, because I feel like, just like people feel like the race card is overused or thrown out there anytime there's anything negative to say about Black people, I feel like the anti-Semitic card is thrown out there just like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, okay, um, Nick, I didn't, from the little bit I know, I didn't see where it was anti-Semitic. I could see where
Well, you
they
gotta
wouldn't.
listen to it. You gotta listen to it.
Okay, because
I
I
would
could see
say
where
that
they would.
before.
I could definitely see where they wouldn't like it. But if he's saying that Black people are the original Jews, it doesn't make sense to categorize the statement as anti-Semitic. Does that make
Well,
sense?
no, I do no, because I feel like it was anti-Semitic, but not in a hurtful way. I feel like it's one of those ignorance and not being knowledgeable about what you're speaking of, being anti-Semitic. Like even like when some people are racist, like how Reese Witherspoon's racist on those shows that we watch, and
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't know she's being racist. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing, and it's hard for you not to be like a Jewish person and say what's anti-Semitic and what's not. Um, I think what Charlamagne said was probably the best thing. If he's going to talk like that, he should have been doing it with a Jewish person, not with someone who has the same beliefs as himself. I think that's where he messed up. I think he should
Mm-hmm.
have been having a conversation with um, a Jewish person so they could have came to an understanding.
But here's the deal, though, and I think this is the way why I feel this way. There is a group of Black people who feel like we are the original Jews. So I don't. It's I guess it's kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around it, since it would be more like um my beliefs versus your beliefs type of thing. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I did.
Nah, I feel like that's being anti-Semitic. I feel
but do
like
you feel like that because one group is much larger than the other? Like,
I feel like you're disrespecting the group of people that you're saying you're not the original Jews. Like I feel like you are. That's disrespecting your race. Even though like I don't know the truth. Meaning if I'm not mistaken, I think the Ethiopian Jews might be the oldest Jews on on earth. If I'm not mistaken, but I'm not sure of that either. But um, I feel like if you one group says that to another group, it could be considered um, anti whatever at that point.
anti-Semitic?
Or because even that's just like saying when people say white power, that's like racist, but really is it? You know what I mean? Like,
That's like they say Black Lives Matter.
Is
It's
that racist? Is that racist against white people?
I think it depends on when you say it. Yeah, I mean, I think because I think white people can get offended because of that.
They
Like,
can, but why do we care if they get offended by that? Is my life not allowed to matter?
all
everything,
lives matter.
everything, everything you say is all about context. So if it's like whatever you say, if you say it in a condescending way, it could be offensive to somebody.
And then no matter what you
But I'm
say,
saying,
somebody can
listen,
ultimately be offended by it
Exactly.
because they don't have those same feelings. So I
Exactly.
could
but
be
I'm sorry. I think when it comes to the whole Black Lives Matter thing, I'll shout Black Lives Matter from the mountaintops, and I do not care who gets offended. I don't. Sorry. I'm just not gonna sit over there and be mad.
I
Right.
ain't nobody saying it like that. I'm saying it more so like if somebody do something, say if you cut a white person in line or something, you just like, oh well, Black Lives Matter. They're gonna get offended because they're like, you know what I mean? What the
But
hell?
who does that? Like who's doing that?
Man, people probably doing anything out here right now,
They are. People is doing anything. I don't. You can't be surprised
man.
because shit.
Now, if I did see something like that happen, I would be the first one to condemn it because that's just ridiculous. But I don't know, like
No, I think you're
just
right about
knowing
that.
that there is a group out there who does believe that Black people are the original Jews. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around how his comments would be anti-Semitic because it's
Because
not like
it's offensive to the people that are called the Jews, Jewish people.
right, but he's saying we're the Jews and we will call ourselves Jews.
So you
So
don't. So if you, so
I'm
that's
not
just
saying
like
I subscribe to that. I'm just saying based on the
I feel like that's offensive.
thinking.
Well, it would only be offensive if the Jews don't think that that's true, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I
But
don't care
but
if you call
but
me
at the
something.
same time, is it anti-Semitic because I'm offended? Like, can you say something and it be true about this group of people, or maybe not this group of people, but I say I'm the original Jew, you're not the original Jew. You might be offended by that, but does that equate to anti-Semitism? Like,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't think
I
so.
I totally understand what you're saying, and yeah, I could agree with that. I just want to know in his apology, I didn't hear it or read it because I was pissed off that when I read that he issued an apology, did he say why he apologized? Did he say I'm apologizing because what? Like he offended the Jewish people and what he said wasn't true,
Yeah,
or
yeah, that's why.
I feel like if he was going to apologize, which he shouldn't have, but if he was going to apologize, he should have just apologized for being ignorant and not maybe not knowing all the facts. Like you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying, but not apologize like because you offended. We people get offended every day, B.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he did apologize for that and saying he needed to be more educated and again, just because I don't do I need to, that's what I'm saying. I feel like there's a conversation that needs to be had around what's the reasoning behind certain people feeling like Black people are the original Jews versus white Jews, or and why do they feel that way? Can there be a conversation around it? Absolutely, because
Mhm.
I'm not saying that I even subscribe to Black people being the original Jews, but I know that there is a group of people who firmly believe that, and I'm not going to sit
Mhm.
there and say that they're wrong. I just don't know.
Mhm.
Um, so, but I don't necessarily, I would not have called that anti-Semitism. I just
Mhm. Yeah. I could agree with that. Totally.
I'm back.
here come Tavi on an anti-Semitism train.
I just feel like you can't, if you're not part of that group, you can't tell people what is anti-Semitism. Does that make sense?
That it does, but
That's just like when some people try to tell black people that's not racism. Like, how you gonna tell me what's racist?
right,
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but then
right.
there are other white people who are brave enough to step up and say, yeah, that was racist.
Mm,
I don't know if that would necessarily happen in this case with that whole anti-Semitism argument.
Yeah, because people was coming out and saying that is anti-Semitism. So, I know a lot of
oh
Jewish people that were
well,
saying that.
That we're saying it wasn't.
That it was.
Okay, yeah, we know that part, but were there any who said that it wasn't?
No.
Oh, well, also another example, and see, this is the thing. I think this is why it can be compared to the whole race card thing is like even y'all remember when 444 came out and they were saying Jay-Z was anti-Semitic because he was talking about the Jews and how they handled their money and basically saying that the black community needed to model themselves after them. Well, there were people kind of like trying to say, well, he had anti-Semitic remarks, but that's not anti-Semitic. Actually, from where he sits, it's a compliment because he's saying we need to model ourselves after this group of people. But
I disagree. I disagree. I disagree. I
but
do.
automatic people are like, oh, the comments were anti-Semitic. Okay, so go ahead. Where you disagree?
Well, then that
Because you
plays
can't tell
after
people
what
what.
Nick says, though. Then us being the original Jews, if that's, I mean, no, go ahead, Tavi.
I'm just saying you can't tell what group of people what they could be offended by, and what they can't be offended by. Like that's not how it works. Like that's just like
Yeah,
when you people say Asian people's good at math. That's offensive. That's
But
like,
at the same time, is
like
it
yeah,
does
because
but
when somebody look at me like when we went up to school and somebody automatically assumed that I played football and stuff like that, that's racist. Like or that you're fast or you could jump high, that's racist.
I
Like,
mean, yeah, okay, but that's
even though it's a compliment, it's still racist.
well, I guess it's a compliment depending on where you're sitting.
Yeah, because the person said, "Oh, I bet you run fast, huh?" You be like, "What?" Like, but
why?
yeah, exactly. Like, and then at the end of the day, they thinking, "Why are you mad at me for saying that?" I thought that was a compliment, but at the end of the day, that's offensive to somebody. Like,
Because in their eyes, they might have the only people they ever saw run fast was black. So
but it's
they
still
just
offensive.
assuming that, yeah, it is. But I mean,
So let me
but go ahead.
so when it comes to Jewish people, for me to say that you handle your money well and you make good business moves, and another group of people needs to model themselves after you, I don't understand like where the offense is in that.
When it's said in a slang type of terminology, and like it ain't, I can understand. Like it ain't said as like well spoken as what you're saying, like how you're saying it. When you're breaking it down, it sounds more formal.
Well, it in the midst of those that happening, P Diddy said you could come on over here to Revolt. We got a place for you.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Cannon's brand might have more money than Revolt.
I mean, quiet as cat.
Yeah, I was thinking like if Nick Cannon with the Revolt, he might hurt his brand. Honestly,
What you say?
Wow.
He ain't that hurt up.
I think he just need to do his independent thing. I don't think he. I think he just need to be his own boss and do what he need to do to become a bigger empire than what he is right now.
And I think that even the Masked Singer stating that they're not going to fire Nick and that there needs to be a larger conversation about um, what was said, I think that also shows how split people are on whether or not what he said was indeed anti-Semitic.
No, I just think he cleaned it up fast enough. That could be he. I think he's willing to learn and he's willing to listen to other people's views. I see
Mm-hmm.
that he has one of his classes with a Jewish man on there that's coming up. So hopefully, they come to understanding. So I mean, I honestly think somebody like Nick Cannon doesn't say anything that's supposedly hurtful to anybody. If he said it like you said, it was something like how what Jay Z said. They don't know that they're being
Mm-hmm.
anti-Semitic.
Mm.
You
So,
feel
well,
me?
I guess that's why he apologized then.
Exactly. I think a lot of people don't realize what they're doing until they understand the other person point of view.
But if
But
he feel if that's how he feels,
But you guys got to listen to the interview.
right?
It's
right.
like y'all just you guys are going off of other comments. He's not. He's
I
putting
listen.
down.
I listen. I listened to the clip. I
So
listened to the
it
clip. I
does
didn't
sound like
watch
he's
the
putting
whole.
down one race to boost up our race, though. Like that,
Oh, okay.
you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I
That's
think like now you're opening me up to a different conversation, and
Well, that's
I'm gonna
all.
say I think that now I'm wondering where is the line? Where does it cross the line between just being standard offended versus racist or anti this or anti that? You
right.
understand what I'm saying?
Right.
yeah. What's the line? And yeah, there's
Right.
Or
it's
does
a
it
whole bunch of
because
gray
I'm a
area.
because is it because I'm a part of this specific group and I'm offended? Does that equate to racism? Or
Right.
like
I think a lot of people that genuinely don't know, they don't know, and I think it's a lot of it is key to ignorance about other cultures. That's all it is. You know
mhm,
what I mean? So you have to be willing to learn other cultures. Remember when everybody used to call Asian people Oriental? It used
yeah,
to, you know what I mean? It's there's
And
certain
that shit still confuse me to the day. Asian, Japanese, Chinese, Vietnamese. I look at them all as one, and that's some bullshit. And I know that they're not, but and they,
exactly.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they probably be like super offended, but they take it on the
Mm-hmm.
chin. And I don't know if they would call it being racist, but that no, they probably get offended.
also, does stereotyping equal racism?
That's what I was about to say. That's
Yeah,
Because
exactly
if
what I
you
was just about
say,
to.
"Oh, you're Asian, you're good at math," is that a racist statement or is it just stereotypical? Because the majority of
it's
Asians
racist.
is it
Yeah, that's
racist?
like
Yes.
that's like yeah, you're fast because you're black. Is that racist or is
The-
that just being? I'm stereotyping you because the only person I ever seen run fast was a black person, so I'm just assuming that you run fast too.
yeah, that both of those are racist statements.
I
I don't
mean,
it's
I
I
feel
don't
like
think it's
people.
right. Like, do you what do any of
It's
you
the
have
line is very thin, and I'm gonna tell you an example right now that I just recently had to deal with, and I'm offended because I feel like people, as soon as you say you're from the area that we're from, or they see this a black person coming, I'm automatically angry, like you know what I'm saying, or I'm trash because I'm from this area or whatever, and I'm not like that at all or whatever. So is that they're stereotyping me or they being racist to
that's
me? Like
now that's
I
racist. And I think that Tavi is confusing stereotyping with racism, but they're two completely different things. Me saying that somebody is Asian and they're good at math, that definitely is assuming that they're good at math because they're Asian. That's
I
stereotyping,
think that's
but
racism. I,
it's not because
so you telling me I
racism
like
is
grape Kool Aid and
wait
watermelon?
wait
Is that's
racism
not
is
racist?
racism is when you believe that your group is more powerful than another group for any your race is more powerful than another group for any race any reason um whatsoever. So stereotyping, it's a generalization of a group of people, but it doesn't have anything, the power thing is not at play there.
Okay,
So
so when somebody said tell you you like watermelon and grape soda, that's
I
not being
did.
racist. I'm just saying that's not being racist. When they
I
say
didn't say
all
that.
black people like chicken, watermelon, and grape soda or grape Kool Aid, that's racist. I don't care what you say.
But there's but quiet as kept a lot of
About last,
quiet as kept quiet as kept most white people like those things too.
but
Otherwise
what
there
are
would
they
not be a
associated
demand
with?
for it.
Who are they associated with?
They're associated with black people.
That's racist to me. I don't.
I had a white girl tell me one time that because she believed that she was she believed that she was biracial, first of all. And I kept saying, like, you're not biracial. Like, I could just look at you and tell that you're not biracial. She couldn't prove that she was biracial. Both her parents were white. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Rachel Dolezal.
she was just, and she said, I know I'm biracial. Like, I like hot sauce on my chicken and watermelon.
See, now that's racist. That's a racist statement. Like, I'll wait you tell that. That's a
But is
racist
it
statement.
though? Is it
Yes.
though?
Yes, it is.
That was so racist. I told that bitch, I'm about to kill you. Like,
Yeah, like,
like I'm about to kill you. Like, that doesn't mean, like, that was so offensive to me.
Mm-hmm. But again, just because it offended you, does that make it racist?
Because I don't eat hot sauce on my chicken. I have, but that's not a thing that I do. Like, like, that's not what I do.
oh man, y'all
So,
funny.
so yeah. But
But
anywho, I
because I
just
feel like
I'm
the uh the context matters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
it
if you're
does.
saying, oh, she's X, Y, and Z, I know she's black. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
She
she
probably
likes
got like 12
chicken.
kids or something
She
like
got
that.
12 kids. She likes fried chicken and watermelon. That context is negative because you're saying because of the position I am in, I can talk about this her in this manner, and the context means that you're better than me. So then there's the power thing that's in it at play there versus
The undertone is
Yeah,
the
it's all about the
power.
undertone.
Yeah,
right.
the
But if I
undertone.
if I if I assume that if I'm in a college court or if I'm in a class and there's an Asian person in there and I assume that they're good at math, so I ask them for help, is that racist or
I feel
I'm
like if they say what because of Asia, you're asking me for help, and you say yes, yes, then it's a racist statement, and then they mess around and not even be good at math. Yeah, so it can
Fix
be
up his
racist.
nails and then what?
Yeah, like that's
Need help.
racist. No, it's
Then y'all
not.
both need help.
like
That's
I
just
need help. Can you help me?
yeah. That's like when
Are you
people
asking
say
me
they,
because I'm Asian? Yeah.
and then they don't even be good at math.
Or you could just look at somebody and be like, oh, they're smart, or they could help because
Mhm.
they wear glasses. That's being stereotypical because not everybody who wears glasses is smart. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and my daughter thinks that. Like I don't
Mhm.
know where she got that from. But
That's
so where's
crazy.
the
That is.
line though? So where is the line though? Because me assuming that this Asian person is good at math and I'm asking for their help, I don't see that as racist. I see that as me stereotyping them, but I don't see that as racist because I'm not
I think you just got to
actually.
ask it in a better way. Like you got like, hey, how are you doing in this class? They say they doing good. Like, well, I was needing some help, or do you want to help me? Don't just say, hey, you good at math. You like
No,
what?
no, no. It's not about what's said. It's about me going straight to this person and asking them for help, just assuming
Yeah,
that they're good because they're
I
Asian.
mean,
I would not.
if you didn't say anything and you just assumed that solely for you, like, oh, I see this Asian person and I'm gonna go over to him, like, you know what I'm saying. But if you say to him, like, I only came over and help and asked you for help for my math because you was Asian, and like, you know, like, so if you say it, like, yeah, but like if that's what you assume, like, you know, I assume that all, like, I just assume that Asian people do nails better than any other race. That's crazy because everybody could do nails. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
so we got to be
Yeah, but
able
at the
to.
same time, what I'm getting at for my as far as the class and asking the Asian person if they can help me with my math, I still don't see that as racist because even when it comes to the power thing, actually, I'm for me to come to you and ask for help, that would assume that I feel like I am in the inferior when it comes to mathematics as opposed to you being the superior party. So that would not be racist. It would be stereotypical, but it's not
Mhm.
racist.
That's like somebody coming to me is
That's
like,
not racist, only when you say it. Only when you say it. Like if you say that shit like that, like if you say it, then it's the person can get offended. You
Yeah,
can't
But
be
that's like
mad if
is
that
it is
person
it
get
more
offended.
context? Is it more context because am I rolling my eyes because they got 100% on their math test and be like, figures they're Asian, versus me going to them for help and saying, "Can you help me?" Blah 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 blah.
but that's like somebody coming up to me asking like, I was wondering if you could help me gangbang or help me sell a drug or something like that. Like just some type of stereotypical black thing. Like it's like if somebody walk up to you and ask you that, it's like that's racist to me. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't think that you can compare the two because gang banging and selling drugs is completely different from somebody being uh, really well and doing really well in mathematics.
So what you try to tell me is a bum can't be racist because they don't have any power over you?
I don't understand what you're saying.
Like I feel like statements that are offensive. Okay, most of the time, if it's offensive to a culture, is racist statements.
But that's what I'm trying to say. Offensive does not equal racist.
If it's towards a culture, it can be.
That's
It
a
can
very
be, but that's what.
thin
But
line. Like we
it
could go back and forth every all day. Like the line is thin. The line is thin.
it definitely is. I agree with you with the line is thin. But what I'm saying is offensive does not equal racism. It
Mm-mm.
can, but it's
That's what I
not.
said. It can. It don't
Yeah.
mean it is, but it can. But
Right.
you can't be the one to say it's racist or not. It's the receiver who determines whether it's racist.
Is it though?
Yes, yes. A
Is
black person asking an Asian person about math, only the Asian person can be offended and be able to say whether it's racist or not. I don't feel like the black person could say it wasn't racist.
I disagree. I disagree. Just based on what the actual definition of racism is, I disagree. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.